We saw the Mark Zuckerberg is going to go start doing free speech on Instagram because he's going to try to be like X. But the reason he's doing that is to get people from TikTok over to Instagram, because TikTok is getting banned. If anyone doesn't remember, TikTok is getting banned in like 13 days, which is going to be slightly depressing. Because I have a lot of people that always comment on my TikTok videos. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different world. And so he's doing that. But so let's watch a video of him talking about it. I think this is more of a CNN source, but this makes a lot of sense actually. And it's good on him, but that's just the wave. He's a wave biter. He bites off of whatever thing is so he can be as cool. When Joe Biden and everyone and Obama and all them people are running, he's with them because that's the trending thing. So watch out for this guy, honestly.
All right, breaking news just moments ago. Facebook announced it is getting rid of fact checkers and also making major changes to what content is allowed. This is just the latest move as Facebook's parent company Meta and founder Mark Zuckerberg work to very publicly win favor with Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. I like how they start him out like this, like mid-speech, so he looks like a goof.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms.
I mean, this is good, but you never know the intentions behind this guy or rich people. It's always a strategic leverage to get your money. Also, I do want to mention that Instagram and Facebook doesn't pay worth shit. TikTok and YouTube pays. He needs to start paying creators. Like, I'm going to start a petition on him paying creators because it's truly bullshit.
Specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. We tried in good faith to address those concerns.
That's
without
funny.
becoming...
At least he brought it up that, similar to X. He's not hiding from the fact that he's totally trying to copy him.
The arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
Wow. Getting rid of fact checkers. And Claire Duffy, you can see her right here, is here with us now. So what's going on here?
Yeah, John, this is a major...
I wouldn't be surprised if that video was made with AI.
Reversal. Let's not forget that the reason that Facebook...
And also, I want to let you know that they're adding thousands, possibly millions of bots. He already came out that he's like, these realistic AI bots are now profiles. What is wrong with these people? Can we just have a normal platform?
Facebook and Meta introduced this third-party fact-checking system in the first place.
Content police? Yeah.
Was because it was accused of allowing foreign actors to spread disinformation and discord around American political elections. Now the company is saying it is getting rid of those third-party fact-checkers and will
end partnership with third-party fact-checkers, new user-generated community notes, which I think that's cool, but we'll see how censored they are. Automated systems will scan only for illegal and high-severity policy violations. Whatever that means. Well, let's see. Let's see how much more of my content goes up. Maybe I'm going to actually take a super edge on it. I will say, though, a good strategy for police and people like this, platforms like this, is to make it an open source where you can say, like free speech, where you can say what you want to say, because it's easier to catch people.
Introduced this system called Community Notes, which is something that Elon Musk has also rolled out on X. It lets users add user-generated context labels to posts, but you're relying on users to do that and to bring in the information. This was announced on Fox and
Yes, this is good. It's just like a comment, actually taking comments seriously for once.
Friends by Joel Kaplan, who's one of the company's top Republicans. Just last week, we talked about he was elevated to the company's top policy job. Here's how he described the system.
So somebody can write a note, and then the way it works is different people on the platform can sort of vote on that note. And if you get people who usually disagree, who all say, yeah, that sounds right, then that note gets put on the post and people see it. X has been doing it for a while. We think it's working really well, and we're going to adopt that system. So
they're trying to hijack everything. Who do you think's going to really win in the race? Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg? He doesn't pay people shit. X pays, TikTok pays. He's a top-notch scam artist.
Also is announcing a number of other changes to its moderation practices. It's going to scale back some of the automatic filters that catch bad content. It says it will keep that for things like terrorism, child sexual exploitation, but for lower severity violations, it's going to ask users to report those before it evaluates them.
Oh my God. They're saving money, and they're using you now as police to tell on other people. Oh, good Lord. This is going to be a mess.
He's also moving one of its key safety teams from California to Texas. Again, an effort to sort of appeal to perhaps users in that part of the country. And Zuckerberg said that this is going to allow more bad things to make it onto the platform. He acknowledged that, but he said it will help with free expression.
A couple points I want to make here. Number one, Joel Kaplan announced that on Fox News. Again, everything very public, unsubtle. I think what Meta is doing here, and I think they would perhaps admit to that. I don't think they would run away from that. And the New York Times reporting that the Trump administration got a heads up about this policy shift beforehand. So again, seems to be part of this larger, very
Zuck sucks. I'm sure he does.
Public effort to curry favor.
Yeah, and Kaplan he acknowledge that it was in part because of this change in administration that they are making these changes. He said that over the last 4 years, the company feels like it's experienced pressure to crack down on more content, and that the Trump administration offers them an opportunity to pull back a bit there. So he is acknowledging it. I will note, too, the company announced yesterday that
he's a flip-flopper. He goes where the money goes.
Adding 3 new board members, including UFC CEO Dana White, who we know is a Trump supporter. He was stumping for Trump on the campaign trail. So it does feel like this broader shift at the company.
Yeah, completely unsubtle. All right, Claire Duffy, thank you very much.
Well, he's doing it just in time for TikTok, and no one else is mentioning this. I've watched multiple interviews on this. No one else is mentioning that he's doing it right before TikTok is getting banned. But he is also opening the platform so more people can come on there and feel welcome. But it's like a trap. It's like when they have those meet with a cop for ice cream in the park. You know, it's like, what? Nah, I'm good.
Meta has announced this morning that it's making major changes to its content moderation on Facebook and Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg is saying they're getting rid of fact checkers, replacing them with user-generated community notes, which is similar to what we know Elon Musk has done with X. The way Mark Zuckerberg puts it in his announcement was that he says the fact checkers were too politically biased.
Ice cream? Yeah, I'm not actually too much of a ice cream guy, but if I do get it, I'll get it without the cop.
And he's now attempting to restore free expression. The New York Times is reporting, Congressman, the Trump administration got a heads up about this move. What do you think of this?
Look,
What do you guys think about this? Good idea or no? Honestly, do you think it's good to take the AI fact checkers away and make everyone police each other? I'll tell you I don't know. It's hard to say. I was going to say the majority is like leftist people, but they just have a good way of complaining louder about minor things. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad. You think it's sus? How could you trust this fucking guy, dude? He sold us all away. All our info away. Yeah, I think it keeps an open platform, but how are we gonna fact check them with actually keeping their word? We don't know if this shit's real. You know, they're still gonna have fact checkers. It's all bullshit. I think he's just saying this to comfort people, to welcome people. I think it's a fucking lie. I don't trust these people at all.
The lack of profiles and courage. Would Zuckerberg do this if Trump had lost the election? Is this just an attempt blatantly trying to appease the president going in so he's not?
You could show him the medicine wheel. Totally. I still think you can do that. I think you might have, if you put it on YouTube and make multiple videos on YouTube and keep posting it on YouTube, I think you'll be able to get people on there.
Not attacked. Let's just remember in 2017, the entire intelligence community said that the Russians attacked through social media our democratic process, and they did it to help the Trump campaign. So social media is an extraordinary weapon against our democracy. There is a balance to protect our First Amendment rights. But when you take away the guardrails and you see the far right connections here, it's a great concern.
So
it is a great concern.
What can you do about, I'll say.
Wait, what'd she say?
So what can you do?
What can you do
about, I'll say, the Elon Muskization of the federal?
Oh, total. You know what? I'll rock with Zuckerberg. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Adam Zuckerberg.
Federal government, if that's the direction it's going. Not elected.
I think Musk is so detached from everything. And I don't think he's ever had friends in his life. And he bought X to be popular.
Not going into the government. What direction is this heading?
Look, what we can do as Democrats is draw attention to what he's done and the fact that obviously he wasn't elected and how this impacts him. When we took out in that first bill, the disaster relief, all we could do was communicate with the American people, though, how much it would cost each state in disaster relief. That had to get put back in the next bill, and it did. But that's all we can do is communicate directly with the American people and our colleagues and hope that they understand Mr. Musk, while wealthy, is not particularly intelligent about a lot of items.
Right.
If you're so rich, why aren't you smart? And he's not connected to the American people, and he has a disconnect.
He's not.
Isn't really concerned with their needs. So,
I don't think he is. He's living in like a futuristic realm. You know, let's like slow down. We don't need fucking robots and rockets. We need to fucking heal our people. You know, come down to Instagram off your high horse. Cybertruck. Wax Adams Cybertruck like a turtle van? Yeah, I'll take like a purple one with, instead of wheels, I want springs where it just like bounces all over town.
I think that's the limits of what we can do where we vote in Congress.
Congressman Mike Quigley, thank you for coming in.
I'm going to ask you a meta question, no pun intended here. Maybe pun intended.
They try so hard to squeeze in jokes.
How do you feel about facts?
I'm pro.
How do you feel about facts? Look at the smile on the guy's face. He's like, what kind of fucking question is that?
Facts. I mean, right? Yeah, look, I'm an engineer. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a spreadsheet guy. I'm a firm believer that you look at the data, you make decisions, you be super transparent, especially for those who hold public office. Explain to folks why you're making the decisions you are based on data, and you move forward.
So some things are objectively true, other things are objectively not true.
Last time I checked, yes.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is because Meta, the parent company to Facebook, announced this morning that it's getting rid of its fact checkers.
Great. Good. Nobody believes them. No,
nobody believes them.
In their own words, there was severe political bias there.
But I will say it leaves a big fact check these nuts. Damn right. They're as big as they say. What I will say with the fact checkers that does help is because now it's going to be like, well, I think also, let me start over. They can't control how much AI information is coming in, and they don't know if it's real or fake, so they're like, fuck it, just take the guard off and let it all pour in. But there'll be a lot more like AI misinformation, without a doubt.
Conservative group that had fact checkers, I'd say there's political bias. If there's a liberal group, if there's social media groups, if there's always going to be a bias in what you do. I think in the social media world, the political bias got very, very heavy. They acknowledge it. They're going to make a change.
Can you get better fact checkers then, rather than getting rid of them altogether?
How about not worry about fact checking?
Well, you just told me that.
Don't worry about fact checking. This is an interesting angle.
Things that are objectively true and objectively not true.
They are, but is that the role? Is social media's role to prove to you what is true and what is not, or is its role to be an open platform for discussion, debate, opinion? You know, whether folks believe something or not believe something. I would say that's really.
I hope brain rot just kills the internet, because these serious guys that are like, we use social media for facts. It's like, social media has always been a goofy place for like comedy and stuff. And brain rot, like the Costco guys, will somehow overwhelm Zuckerberg and Elon Musk.
Where social communication, that's the more of the role of social media, not to be the police of what's true.
Without using words like police, and I'm glad we're having this discussion because it's an important one here.
Yeah.
Whose responsibility is it then to talk about what's true and not true?
Yours, mine, my kids, our communities. We all have that personal responsibility. It's not the government's. There's a freedom of speech aspect to this, of course, but it's not the government's role to necessarily tell you absolutely what is true and what is not true, what you should believe, judge you on what you believe and how you're voting.
Yeah. We're not talking about the government. We're talking about Facebook.
Right. It's a private business.
So
right. Is it in their business?
Exactly, and that's the problem. Is that the real world and the news has become a meme. Okay, it's become a meme, and we're thinking that the government is X. We're thinking that Facebook is the government, and it's getting kind of weird.
This model that we are going to be the police of truth in America, and when people say something that isn't true, we're going to immediately correct it or ban them? No, of course not. I'm going to guess I haven't seen the.
Right. I mean, dude, I've got shadow banned for just one small comment that was misconstrued.
Business plan for Facebook, but I'm guessing that Meta doesn't have it in there.
How do you know when you go on Facebook whether what you're reading is true?
You don't. You don't. And that's why you shouldn't use Facebook or just Truth or just social media or just CNN or just ABC. You use your experiences to understand that what you're getting. And I'll say this, I think the next generation, I think we have this tough debate on it because social media is new for us, right? Our generation invented social media. We didn't have the maturity and the responsibility to handle it appropriately. I think the next generation does. I think they know the vast majority of what they're seeing online isn't necessarily truthful. There is bias on both sides.
Right. Yeah, that is getting tricky. They're
it
almost,
wouldn't be an
you know what's funny is they're almost playing the soft side and being like, we're not here to give you the facts or the real news. We're here just to be social media. Let's have a conversation, real or fake. You know, can we just have a conversation for once without people just judging? You know, that's freedom of speech, you know? And it's like the leftist, the left took jokes like way too far. Not way too far, but there's no sarcasm. You can't joke with people that are super far left. You know, you can't. That's how it's been. I hope it opens up. I hope people start relaxing a little more. Can we just have some fucking fun? Really. Other than that, guys, TikTok ban that correlates with this, and let's see it. I want to see all the conspiracy theories that now come out on Facebook and Instagram. So we're gonna watch a couple videos on this until we can figure it out. This was like from last night, but they're refusing Trump's TikTok ban. Or Trump's like delay on TikTok, and TikTok is supposed to be banned one day before Trump gets into office. You know what? It might be good to slim everything down to a couple platforms. Who knows? But I'm ready. I like TikTok though, not gonna lie.
Well, the Justice Department is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to bypass President-elect Donald Trump's attempt to delay a TikTok ban from going into effect. Attorneys for Trump filed a motion with the Supreme Court to block a law that would ban TikTok in the U.S. on January 19th if its parent company ByteDance doesn't sell it. Now, last month, the president-elect said he wants an opportunity to find a political resolution. Lawmakers have said the social media platform is a threat to national security because of potential Chinese government access to U.S. consumer data.
I get it.
The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments this Friday, January 10th.
Dude, I get it. I totally get it. But it sucks. A lot of people make money off of TikTok. A lot of people hustle on TikTok, and it kills a lot of people's grinds. But they did warn us for like the last year and a half that they were going to ban it. Let's see some more.
An unprecedented clash between Silicon Valley, Congress, and the incoming president has Americans looking up from their phones and turning their attention to the Supreme Court. In a Hail Mary to save its future in the U.S., TikTok convinced the Supreme Court to hear their case and decide whether a new national security law violates the First Amendment. Last spring, with broad bipartisan support, Congress and President Biden created the Protecting Americans' Data from Foreign Adversaries Act, requiring TikTok to be sold from its Chinese parent company ByteDance by January 19th or be banned in the U.S.
We just want the ownership not to be in the hands of a nation.
Well, mostly they're mad that people from another country created a better company.
Is an adversary.
TikTok is going to argue that the First Amendment rights of TikTok and also of the creators of TikTok are being absolutely infringed.
Before they rule in the case, the justices will decide whether to keep the deadline for TikTok to be sold in place.
Or will the Supreme Court look for ways to have the law
delayed? So it's
not
getting banned? Wait, what's...
A delay is exactly what President-elect Trump is asking from the court. In an amicus brief filed just before the new year, his counsel writes the January 19th deadline is unfortunately timed to bind the hands of the incoming Trump administration on a significant issue of national security and foreign policy.
They're just trying to fuck everything up.
In his first term, Trump supported a ban. He reversed course while feuding with other social media companies, concerned a TikTok ban would benefit them. He even campaigned on this issue.
For all of those that want to save TikTok in America, vote for Trump.
In his own amicus brief, Republicans...
What a manipulation tactic right there.
Senator Mitch McConnell, a supporter of the national security law, urges the justices to act swiftly, writing, TikTok clearly hopes that the next administration will be more sympathetic to its plight than the incumbent administration.
Watch TikTok get put back in place. A lot of those senators and people that have to vote, they got kids, They understand how much their kids love TikTok.
In other words, delay is the point. 9 justices, 3 of whom...
Look at these guys. They think they're superior.
Appointed by Trump, facing decisions that will majorly impact free speech, national security, and tech. We'll know the outcome in less than 2 weeks.
Okay.
In Washington, I'm Atra Al-Nashar reporting.
I actually don't think it's going to get banned, honestly. I don't think it's going to get banned. Like, there will be some sort of outrage. If Trump getting into office isn't the liberal, January 6th that happened on the other end, the TikTok ban will be. We're going to storm the Capitol when they ban TikTok. What do you guys think? I'm down. I'll be there. I'll be leading the march, storming the Capitol for TikTok. Oops. And, they can't do that. They're trying to control everything. Alex Jones, what do you think Zuckerberg is really up to? Facts. Thank you, Alex Jones.
There. Drugs. Hey, everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram.
He is very Zuckerberg. He will bow down.
I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content.
Oh God!
Governments and legacy media have
Why does he sound so fake? Like he's definitely reading an AI-generated speech.
To censor more and more.
Yeah, Zuckerberg for sure.
A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously.
This is true.
And I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes.
Back to the roots, whatever that means.
Simplifying our policies and restoring...
I don't know if I want to go back to those roots.
...free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas.
Oh yeah, if you're not with that whole leftist idea of everything, like, yeah, you got canceled. But he's the one that implemented that. That's the problem, guys. That was him. And now he's switching stance. He just doesn't want to be hated.
Gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and
but he don't know who he is.
Experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number...
Less bad stuff. Whatever Mark Zuckerberg thinks is bad, that's what they're going to catch.
...of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth,
they've been assholes.
Civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start...
No, he doesn't want he doesn't want to. He understands that this is the way things are going, and he's just going to, he's Mr. Go with the flow. I think he's tired of being the bad guy for sure. He's been the bad guy his whole life. You know, he provided people with Facebook and well, he didn't make Instagram. He bought Instagram. And then Instagram copied what TikTok was doing. Instagram is not his original thing. He made Facebook. That's what Mark Zuckerberg is known for. And then he did Meta with like MetaQuest, but he didn't invent the Oculus. They bought the company Oculus and then put their brand name on it.
Start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work...
Everyone's moving to Texas. Like, I get it. I was just actually on, what was it, Facebook Dating, because I have that on one of my profiles that I'm able to access it. I put Austin, Texas, and it's like, it's like, I don't know if those are my type of chicks. Too rowdy.
To promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
You don't think he's fucking excited that TikTok is getting banned? They're about to have an absolute influx of Instagram users like never before.
The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship.
I don't think that chain is really working for him. Something about that is off.
By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it.
That sounded like the most robotic thing ever.
It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
Look at this. Look at this guy's face. Does that look like the face of a happy man? Or does it look like he's dying inside? Good Lord.